Hey there, welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all happy podcast. I am your host and coach KG here with
co-host and co-host Josh. Welcome to today's podcast.
We're so happy to have you here. Every Monday, we show up no matter what with this Motivation Monday episode. And the goal of this episode is to get you fired up, to get you charged up. But we don't want to just get you super inspired and leave it there. We also want to give you some great takeaways for you to implement within the overall week. So that's what we're here to do. Sit back, relax, enjoy coffee, whatever it is that you drink, tea, and enjoy this amazing jam-packed episode. Now, we are going to start off with our first question, and this is the question that this episode is mainly, themed around. And this was an amazing question we were asked, and I wanted to start off with this here today. How to lose your love handles. It's a part that I struggle with the most, and it's driving me nuts. And this is from Andrew. So this is a fantastic question, and I think a lot of times people get asked it, and we get asked it, but in different variations. The stubborn belly fat, the last little bit of fat, but specifically the love handles is something a lot of people struggle with. And one thing I wanted to start off with is overall my biggest tip. Now, of course, being in a calorie deficit, of course, eating better, moving more, all these things are absolutely fantastic. But thinking of the specific person that asked this, and I know a lot of people who do as well, my answer is going to be that you have to just keep going for a little bit longer. Now, a lot of times when you lose your first little bit of weight, usually it comes off in the areas that you don't even really care for it to come off in. I just find that that's commonly the case. Sometimes people lose it in their upper body, areas that they're not as exactly keen to lose it in. And the more that you go and the longer you're in a deficit, the more likely it is that you're going to get it off in that specific area. And the reason I know this is because that's exactly the way my body's designed. When I start in a deficit, let's say I'm looking to lose 20 pounds, the first little bit's going to be the upper body. It's going to be, maybe a little bit in my legs, all that other stuff. And then it's those last 5 pounds where I just really need to keep pushing that it comes off in that stubborn, lower, just that core area, that lower part of your core, right? The love handles, the obliques, all that other stuff. And typically speaking, it's because our bodies are actually designed to carry more in there. Is actually meant to, when you go back in the olden days, to be a healthier form of just place to kind of carry the fat. Women have it in different areas, men have it in different areas, but especially for us men, a lot of times it's in that love handle area. And once again, that's just more so kind of a place that you just store it in terms of safety, in terms of, just being overall actually healthy. That's the way that we were designed. I looked into this a while ago because I was really, really curious. And so once again, when you continue with that deficit, when you keep pushing and you stay there for a prolonged amount of time, it will come off. You just have to be patient and you just have to keep showing up.
Yeah, that was a fantastic answer, and it can be frustrating because this is an area where why does fat have to store here? And unfortunately, visceral fat can really add on over just a lot of time of just slowly gaining weight as you get older, and it can be frustrating because you can start to lose weight, see the scale come down, but it can often be that last thing to come off. It can really stick, and just know everyone loses fat differently, everyone responds differently. But as Kyle said, sticking to the plan here, sticking to those basics and avoiding those quick fixes, avoiding doing excess ab machines, trying to just only eat veggies and thinking it's going to go away. These things are okay in premise. Building your ab strength is totally, absolutely awesome. Being in a deficit is going to get you there. Training hard, working on your composition. These things in turn will get rid of the love handles, but there's nothing you can do to specifically target or scorch them in the short term. So it's more about that grand theme of what you can do to really push forward. And within that too, we will have a free fat loss guide coming out soon. Kyle's got some info on that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. To be completely honest, I spent a little bit more time than I feel like I should have on it. And I kept going. I just really wanted to add as much value to be able to help simplify overall fat loss. So just make sure to follow us on Instagram at Colossus Fit. You'll hear the announcement of when it's released, and it's going to be completely free for the first little bit. Eventually I will charge. So by you getting access to it completely free right now, it's going to be a free value add, and you will not want to miss out on that. So yeah, really excited to see you over on Instagram and share that free benefit with you. Now, the other thing, once again, within this guide, and even as I spent a lot of time thinking about fat loss, losing weight, I really, really want to stress the importance of being in a calorie deficit. I know we mentioned this, but I find most people who are looking to lose that little bit of fat, obviously patience is super, super important, but I find most people aren't actually in a calorie deficit. I know I've talked about this, but it's just something I'm so passionate about because I see it happen so often where someone isn't accurately tracking their calories. Usually it's on the nutrition front, right? I don't believe, there are some people who don't move as much and they should get more steps in. And, I do totally get that. But I find a lot of times people aren't being fully accurate. They're not being honest with themselves. They're not being consistent enough. So they'll do like 5 days on, 2 days off, a whole bunch of things. So the best thing you can absolutely do is keep track of the data, your measurements, your photos, your weigh-ins, so the data side of things. And when you're keeping track of the data as well as your calorie intake, you'll start to see what's going on, how your body reacts. And that's something we obviously do with coaching is we take a look at the entire data and how your body's progressing. And once again, make sure that you're in a strict calorie deficit, your weight's going down week by week, the trends are there. Once again, something we specialize in, but that's the biggest thing is being a calorie deficit, follow the trends, follow the data and do it for a certain amount of time and be patient, and you will absolutely see some incredible success long term.
Incredibly well said. And yeah, be sure to follow us because that guide is going to show you the tenets of exactly what to do. Obviously, you have to find how to implement in your life, and that's something we can help you with one-on-one. But if you're feeling you need some clarity towards that, this is going to be fantastic for you. So hit us up on Instagram at ColossusFit, COLOSSUSFIT, to get that free resource there. But now that we've answered our primary question, and it was a great one because it's one we get asked all the time. It feels like every time we go in the gym, someone grabs their fat and goes, I want to get rid of this on their stomach. So whether it's the love handles or the front, the principle is the same there. But now we're going to go ahead and transition into our quotes, showcase a client who has been absolutely crushing it. And we have a really exciting transformation today as well because we just wrapped up our 30-day challenge and we're excited to share the results from that. But we're going to go ahead and start it off with our quotes, and I'm going to go ahead and kick it away because why not? So my quote, and I have shared this on the podcast previously, so if you've been listening, and I know a lot of you have listened to all of our episodes, I just want to say I really appreciate that. I've also been getting a lot of personal messages as well as messages on Instagram saying that the podcast has been extra fire lately. There's just been a lot of great information here. And I want to say we appreciate it because we've been putting a lot of effort into really just getting the best content, the best discussions, the best questions possible to really help make sure everyone is pushing forward and growing in 2024. But for my quote this week, we have, it is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in war. And I love this quote, and I know it can seem a little abstract, but the gist of it is it's better to be overly prepared than to be unprepared. If you're overly prepared and overly equipped for a situation, it's just better off to be. And even for me lately, when I go into things or challenges, I try to think of like the worst, like what's the worst situation it could be, and normally that's what you don't want to do. But sometimes when you do that, it's freeing. Like honestly, if this was the absolute worst case, it isn't that bad, and I could take this, and this action. And just the same, every day by doing something that sucks, whether you get up and you go on a walk, you don't hit snooze, you get in the gym. Yes, these things are hard. Yes, you have that flinch and your body wants to resist to it. But by doing that every day, you're training yourself to be better equipped for adversity, to be better equipped with struggle. And on the other side of that, you feel fantastic. If you finish a workout, it always just feels phenomenal. And I'm getting a little bit ahead here in my thoughts, but I think these go hand in hand, so I have them grouped together. So one thing I read in a newsletter here, this is from Mark Manson, and this is something I wanted to share with this quote this week. And he wrote, imagine there was a magic pill that eased anxiety and depression, improved focus and mood, helped you sleep, caused you to lose weight, have better sex, and guaranteed you live longer. Oh, and it's free and it has no known side effects. That magic pill exists, ... It's called exercise. So I thought that was pretty awesome, and I think that's just a way to pull this more abstract quote into more of a practical approach. And just even the thought of like when you're not feeling your best, when there's challenges, it always feels great just to get out there, get on a walk, crush a workout, whatever it may be. So that is my quote and one of my thoughts for this week.
Absolutely well said. And I'm going to jump right into my quote, which is something I'm very passionate about. And it is from Brian Tracy. He had said in one of his books, you are where you are and what you are because of yourself. Everything you are today and ever will be in the future is up to you. Your life today is the sum total of your actions and choices up until this point. You can create your own future by changing your behaviors. So obviously this wasn't a quote, it's more so just something from his book that I wrote down that I was honestly super passionate about. And the main thing I got from that is you always have complete control. And I think it's very hard for some people to face even our past results and things that have taken place in the past, because sometimes we want to put what has happened and what's gone on in our life on others and kind of put the blame onto others. But I honestly, and I've said this before, the day that I realized, and this is something I got from, a guy, Grant Cardone, from a couple of his different books, was he just kept talking about how instead of being a victim, I forget the way he said it, just don't be a victim, really. Things don't happen to you. They happen because of you. Like all these different mantras. And I think the day that I realized that I'm in complete control, I have the responsibility, I can make or break things. Like I feel like it's just a very freeing feeling, because instead of putting it onto others, instead of looking back at, even if someone had a bad childhood, it's so easy to look back on that and, just use that as, a reason why something's going on in your life now, when instead you realize, hey, I'm an adult, I can make it or I can break it, I can do what I want, I can make these changes, I'm in complete control. So whatever you get from this little sentence, I really hope that you are inspired from it. And it's just something that, once again, by changing your behaviors now, you can create your own future. You can have things go on positively or negatively based on what you're doing, and that's completely up to you. It's in your hands and you are in complete control.
Incredibly well said. I mean, just changing your thought process and your actions will lead to that result. And it can be hard in that moment to do those behaviors. I even mentioned the concept of not hitting snooze, but it can pay off to so much more consistent times, better sleeps. It's just those attitudes and really setting that standard and having a lot of these things that will be movers for you, even if they seem mundane and small, and making them non-negotiable. It's just saying, no matter what, I will do this, I will move forward. So that was incredibly well said. What other thoughts you got, Kyle?
Yeah, and I just want to say, take responsibility. Like there's some things I'll get sometimes frustrated, and I feel like it is a lot. I'm more at ease when I learn a lesson from myself. Like, for example, I'll be like, hey, you know what? Here's what I could have done better, and this is where I messed up, instead of just always blaming someone else. Like it's not the way to live. And within that thought and quote, there's a lot that's been on my head in terms of just like positivity. Once again, you don't always have to be positive. Even, Mark Manson's book, this subtle art of not giving an F, he's very big into that. And I think that's awesome, because at the end of the day, we will have those days where we just we're not going to always be sunshine and rainbows and be yeah, I'm so pumped up. But at the same time, you can absolutely trick yourself into, I guess, just having a better day. And we can do this a number of ways, but even it was something I was listening to. They were just talking about the concept of smiling more. I think it was actually, so I have a few thoughts from Dean Graziosi's book, and I'm listening to that, and it's Millionaire Success Habits. And what I like about this book is it's not just about getting rich and being wealthy, and a lot of it is just habit based, and especially for those who are, getting to the point where you're a millionaire and, whatnot. A lot of them have dialed in routines. A lot of them talk about exercise and just being efficient and, having a positive mindset and all that stuff. All these things are very, very important. So that's what I like about a lot of these books, is it's not just about building a business. And although I love that stuff as well, I like that there's a lot of habit based stuff that you can just simply become a better version from, especially Dean Graziosi. I think he's such a positive, solid dude that has gone through a lot. Anyways, so I like his content, but he was even saying, and he asked, and this is what I was listening to this morning, he said, what are your trigger words, right? So there's some people, when you ask them and you say, hey, how are you doing, Josh? He's going to say fantastic, or, the best I can be, just something, whatever it is, uplifting, where just the state and what happens in your body just gives you nothing but positive vibes. It also translates over into other people. And there's some people you say, hey, how's it going? And they'll just say stressed, and they'll grunt, and they'll make all these weird noises. And you're going to obviously start to feel naturally worse if you're that person. And then the people around you will as well. So my biggest challenge is to pay attention to those trigger words, how your body feels. Try to just be a more positive and surround yourself with more of these people as well, because I'm telling you, when you pay attention to these energy chargers versus energy drainers, it makes such a big difference in how you feel every single day. And even the concept of smiling more is the second thing that's I'm passionate about on the top of my head, is even if you're in a state where you might be a little bit upset, the simple act of putting a smile on your face does so many different things. And even here I have written down, the simple act of smiling releases anti-stress chemicals, dopamine and serotonin in your brain. These feel-good transmitters travel throughout the body to relax muscles, lower blood pressure, slow the heartbeat, ease tension, and relieve stress. So makes a big difference. I honestly feel like it can change the game for you if you're having a bad day, if you're having a great day, smiling and just releasing positive energy will make a difference. And I hope that inspires you in some way or another.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with smiling more. I forget where I heard it, but even the concept of just smiling before you're on camera, even for the podcast, to make a point to smile. You can usually hear when someone's smiling through their voice, as crazy as that sounds. And even on the phone, kind of adding on to what I just said, it is just such a great habit to smile more. And it's amazing how I've spoken before, how disarming a smile can be. When you're walking by someone, they can look so stern and angry, you smile at them, and sometimes it just lights up their whole world. They just become the happiest, nicest person. So I definitely think that is an awesome thought to add here, and I think that was incredibly well said. And now it is a great time to transition and talk about all the success we had here in our 30-day challenge. So take it away.
So first of all, shout out to everyone that took place. I love these challenges. You guys know we are heavily into them. And honestly, if it just gets you on the right trajectory with the right habits, like, I'm all for it. And that's what this challenge did. Our goal here wasn't to set someone up for success where after the challenge, they feel like they need to go grab a drink or go binge eat or just do anything that some of these other challenges do. Once again, we're very focused on habit-based, just doing things to build up those habits to set you up for success for long-term results. So anyways, it's been fantastic. The 30 days was great. We saw so many amazing transformations. So shout out to any of you that took action and did it first and foremost. But of course, we did have some winners. So essentially, first place, Mark, he got $2,000 sent to him for just killer results within his 30 days. He transformed in so many different ways. He's super proud of him, honestly. That's all I have to say there. Even Rochelle, battling different things through cancer, she came second place, and it was a hard battle choosing, right? So this was the first time we've done a challenge where it was more so paying attention to the photos, taking a look at and looking at the results. Usually it's just more so everyone gets put in there and then we draw from a hat. We did it a little bit differently this time. So obviously Mark first place, Rochelle second, and then Stephen Matthews, as well as my client Tim Hall, he had came third. So both of them tied, and amazing stuff. Like, once again, we are so proud for everyone that showed up, and stay tuned because we're going to be doing another one at some point. Obviously, we always get great results. Everyone loves it. The fire's there, the motivation's there. So just want to take this time to shout out these amazing, special people. And if you are struggling on your journey, obviously summer is coming up. All you have to do is message us with the keyword Summer Shred to our Instagram, and we will take care of you. It is time for you to stop struggling, to get the results you deserve, to lose body fat, to build confidence, and feel amazing in whatever you're wearing this summer. And we can't wait to help you. And I guess we'll accept probably 3 to 4 people based off of our availability. And we can't wait to take care of you.
Incredibly well said. And a special shout out to everyone there who partook in our challenge. Me and Kyle partook as well, and it's just awesome to challenge some vices, set a new standard. And what I love too is seeing my clients take that push forward they've had and to continue that in, and to see that just become a better version of who they are and a better version of the habits they previously had. And I think by taking a step back from some things, challenging your normal, raising to that new level, it's amazing to see what you can adapt towards. And I think that's what these challenges are all about. We do these annually, so definitely a great reason. These are totally free for all of our coaching clients. We do it exclusively to our coaching clients. We might do something with the podcast community in the future, but for now, once again, you can check out those transformations. You can work with us one-on-one with the keyword and messaging us on Instagram. But all that good stuff is on Instagram alongside with the announcement of that fat loss guide. So as you can see, there's a lot of good stuff happening there. Over podcast, it's only voice. There's no visuals, there's no video unless you're on YouTube. Shout out to our YouTube gang that's here. Definitely be sure to comment down below, YouTube gang, so we see you're here and crushing it. But now we will go ahead and jump into our second comment, which is the stair-master worth it? What would you say are the best cardio machines in the gym to lose fat? So this is an awesome question because it can be hard to select a cardio machine these days. It seems like there's 80 different options. They're all really exciting. It's hard to really pick one. And stair-masters are usually pretty popular. So people will be like, hey, what are your thoughts on this machine? And I personally love it. So first and foremost, I wouldn't say, and once again, this is a nuanced answer. It's no machine is really better for truly losing fat. Now, some machines are better for burning more calories faster, for sure. There's some that are more daunting, they're harder, but losing fat doesn't come from just purely doing cardio. Even the other day, I was just in the change room, I had my shirt off, and a guy was looking in the mirror, he looked at himself, he looked frustrated, he looked at me, he's like, man, what do you do? What do you do for cardio to be so shredded? I'm like, I don't really do cardio. I just walk a little bit, do 10,000 steps a day, but that's about all I do. I don't do anything outside of that. outside of like volleyball or the odd sport I'll play, but nothing intentional. Like I don't hop on machines or anything like that. I mean, I've been messing around in the pool just because I hate swimming. So when I'm out there, I just like, I'll go do like 12 laps or something stupid, just kind of get the body moving. But I don't do anything intentionally with the purpose of losing fat. If I want to lose fat, I decrease my calories. I make sure I'm in a deficit. It's really that simple. If you're trying to just do cardio, it's so easy to eat it back. For instance, played volleyball yesterday, crushed it, probably burned a ton of calories. If I wanted to, after that, I would have thought, oh my gosh, if I'm just a normal person, I burned so many calories, played volleyball for 2 hours, probably burned 1,000,000 calories, so I deserve this pizza. And then I eat this pizza, and then I actually ate more than I burned, and I'm negating my entire work and the effect of it. And that's where, by knowing my calories, I'm like, okay, I'm done with my calories for today. I know where I'm at. Yes, I did some cardio. That's fantastic, good for me. But I can easily control my rate of loss, my deficit. I can put myself in a lean bulk. I can reverse diet. Like learning nutrition, if you truly want to lose fat, is what matters most. But to the core question of what machine is the best, I do think the stair-master is a fantastic machine because it really obviously causes you to move in a different pattern. You're elevating your foot. You're getting some good glute work. I just find in general it is pretty taxing and tough without being absolutely destroying you. Like I would take a stairmaster over a sprint because it is exhausting, it's hard, but it isn't like absolutely going to demolish you like a hill sprint or something like that where it's going to take so much energy. But to me, the best thing of all is just walking in general and being outside because it takes such a low output of energy. Yes, you're not burning a lot of calories, but it's easy to do. It's not scary. It's not going to take away from your lifts, and you're not going to have a huge hunger effect afterwards. But if I had to pick a machine in the gym, I probably would use I'd probably still use a treadmill. I think incline walk is probably my top one. Stairmaster is a close second. And then once again, though, it really depends. Like maybe you are injured with your legs and you want to use that arm machine where you do like the little arm bike or whatever it is, and that's all you can do, good for you. If that's all you can do, that's fantastic. If the bike feels the most natural for you and you like it and you enjoy it, good for you. Like you really got to find what works well for you, but there's my answer with a little bit of context.
Yeah, it's funny because one of our most recent posts on Instagram was a tweet post where we get questions and then the answer is usually, it depends, it depends on your situation. I guess it could be, but, and then like insert point here because it is so true. I do find that we get that a lot, especially it's been happening a lot at the gym we've been going to. And then even just some friends will ask very kind of specific questions, right? Or sorry, specific, but also kind of very general, right? Like, is creatine worth it? Well, it depends. Like, where are you at? Like, what else are you focused on? What else are you doing in your routine? Are you optimizing this? So I thought that was a great answer for something that could be a very open-ended question. And yeah, I mean, once again, like, I personally have not used a cardio machine at the gym in a very long time. I'm trying to think. I mean, I've done a lot in the past just growing up. That was something we would do is use different things at the gym, Jacob's ladder, rowing machine. Like that was just something I always did. And, I do enjoy, but just now based off of like being in the gym for quite a while, I would prefer to just do it otherwise elsewhere. So especially sports, I really enjoy as well as just walking. So those are my two top favorites, but once again, that's my personal thing. I can't tell someone to go do sports who just absolutely hates it and just doesn't have a skill or upbringing from that. So that's where obviously the situation depends on you. I do like the stairmaster as well, just because I feel like it's a very natural movement that you're used to doing, essentially climbing upstairs. I think it helps you get better at that movement consistently. And once again, the muscles you're using are absolutely fantastic. Like I would choose that over the elliptical any day. Honestly, just elliptical to me is not, I don't know. It's kind of a weird machine, and that's just my personal preference. But I did get thinking about the main concept of cardio, especially the goal is to definitely minimize the overall like potential risk of injury, especially because even when I actually did a couple laps of swimming yesterday, and I've actually had a little bit of an injured groin, I was just thinking about how great it was for me at that current moment based off of what was going on. I just felt like it was just a really, really good thing to be doing. I know the bike is another fantastic thing for a lot of people because it's lower impact. So when you compare these types of cardio protocols such as stairmaster, bike, swimming, all that other stuff, walking, to something like Josh said, hill sprints, long runs, high intensity interval training, those things where the risk of injury is higher, I don't think those types of cardios are exactly worth it unless you have some other benefits and things that you're focused on. Let's say you're a triathlete or a marathon runner or whatever, then that will be different for you, obviously, based off of what you're striving for. So the point when choosing cardio, at least to me, is obviously we want to focus on the heart health. We want to do all that great stuff. We want to have fun. Like those are the most important things. But after all that stuff, we do want to pay attention to what's going to cause the least amount of potential injury. Because especially I do know like a lot of times people will unfortunately get injured from stuff like that, or when they're just doing too much. Like it's just, we want to minimize that, right? And yeah, so that's my little ramble on the whole cardio side of things that I wanted to mention to you today. Alrighty, and another fantastic question here is, why do the gyms make you look bigger in comparison to mirrors elsewhere, like my house? How do I work around that? So I thought this was a good question. It's kind of a little bit of an interesting one, and I wanted to kind of take a little twist on it afterwards. But I mean, first and foremost, I'm sure every person has realized that. Even today, Josh and I were we were taking some photos in the gym and whatnot, and paying attention to like the lighting, right? That's the biggest thing. And gyms they know what they're doing. They think about that stuff as well. And a lot of times it comes down to just like the overall different things going on. So in a gym, obviously there's lighting, there's a pump as well. A lot of times you will have a pump. When you're at your house, you don't get these mirrors. You don't think about these things. You just get the mirrors for your overall house. That's what you think of. So I'm actually not like fully sure. I'm not sure if there's anything that they specifically do in terms of the overall mirrors, but I do know the external things such as the lighting, such as the pump, the blood flow into your muscles and whatnot is usually something that does have a bigger effect. But yeah, that was a fun question. I'm sure Josh has stuff to say on that one, but that's my small little answer there.
Yeah, these ones are fun because it can always be interesting, but obviously the gyms are made to make you look good. The other thing is you're going to look a lot better when you're in your gym clothes and when you're pumped up versus when you're just at home waking up dehydrated, having to go to the bathroom. It's two very different situations, but a big part of it will be lighting. The gym knows what it's doing and wants you to look good in there and wants you to come back. And if the gym is halfway decent, it'll obviously be reflecting of that. So I do find that's the biggest thing. I think otherwise it just comes to angles and stuff like that, but it's nothing too much past it really. But as I said, that pump makes a big difference. You're already in a good mood. I think that mindset helps a lot. And I think you're already feeling good about yourself for being in there. So I think that's kind of a simple but fun answer to that question of why do they look so good.
And yeah, this obviously really got me thinking, especially just in terms of overall body image, because I know that is something that a lot of people struggle with. You have those days where you don't want to look. You have those moments where you wake up feeling all bloated, and it can be challenging, right? Especially when you do put in a lot of work and, you go into the gym, you see yourself pumped up, you're all excited, and then you have that moment where you're checking yourself out at your house and you're like, man, what is going on? I look like I don't lift. And one of my biggest tips, like if I were to just leave you with one thing in terms of overall body image, is to really celebrate your wins and also to just look for those wins. Because I feel like so many people, especially what I was talking about earlier in terms of the mindset, in terms of our language, like we're so hard on ourselves and we're always looking for that imperfection. Like, if you're sitting there and you're just looking to pinpoint that thing where you like maybe don't look as muscular, or you're just overall unhappy with the overall physique, how you're feeling, all that stuff, it can be very challenging because you're constantly putting in that work, you're showing up. So anyways, my biggest takeaway once again is just finding those wins and being just appreciative of that, because I feel like very often if you were to look at the entire day with all the different thoughts going on, is it's just a lot of times there's 10 to 50 to 100, I'm not looking good, or I'm not feeling good, or, there's a list of just negative things. Whereas when you're actually paying attention to what your body can do, your strength, you're appreciating those wins, like you're actually just being supportive of yourself. It makes it a lot easier because it can be such a tough process. And I hear a lot of negativity. I talk to a lot of people who are doing such great things and they don't even realize it. So in terms of overall body image, celebrate those wins, look for those wins, and I guarantee you it can change the game for you, and it'll make such a big difference to help you stay on track, to stay motivated, and to just get the results you deserve, to keep up that amazing momentum. And with that being said, just want to thank you so much for spending this time here with us on this Monday episode. Like Josh said, make sure to follow us on Instagram. You will not want to miss out. We spend a lot of time on there, and we will always reach out. You'll hear from us. We want to support you. We want to give you tips. We want to help you feel your absolute best. And of course, with the Summer Shred promo, it will go by quick. So as soon as you're listening to this, send us a message on Instagram at ColossusFit, ColossusFit. Now until Thursday, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.